Mr. Mawumbe Mukhwana, thanks very much for joining us on this very important interview.
Thank you, Mr.
Bart
Kakoza.
Thank you very much.
I've ever interacted with you.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm happy that you have taken trouble to look for me and have one-on-one discussion.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to...
Yeah, thank you. But let's try to start from the time of the struggle of Idi Amin. You are one of the fiery students. Where were you when Idi Amin was in charge in Uganda?
When Amin was in charge, when he took power, I was in Bali. I was one of the local councillors at the municipal council. And although I had been expelled from the UPC and I was holding a party card of UPC, though I was removed, kicked out with other fellows as
now
members
that
of the
you talk
UPC.
about the kicking out of UPC,
Yes.
how did this happen? Let me hear it from the host's mouth.
It's because of the Group Conference.
Yes.
See, John Kakonge had a lot of influence in the country. And obviously, Dr. Obote didn't like it that a young man, and from the south, and then from west, takes the cradle of the revolution of this country by hook or crook to sub power, either through an election or some other means. But obviously, Obote didn't, as time went on, didn't like to have John Kakonge the Secretary General.
Yeah.
And some of us who were, in fact, admirer of John Kakonge became victims of the circumstances that immediately after the Group Conference, we were fired at the press conference being held in Kampala.
So how did it actually happen? Did Obote come up and say, today this so-and-so has been expelled?
Yes, Obote came up and said, together with the Secretary General, that there are certain elements whom we could not tolerate amongst the UPC party. And therefore, I today, as the president of this country, and as the president of the party of the UPC, take a decision to have these elements removed amongst us. They should not belong to the UPC.
Why didn't he fire Kakonge?
Yeah, he did not fire Kakonge, but he was about to fire Kakonge. But I think Gracie Bingira tried to talk to him that let's put a carpet below him. Let's remove the constituency from John Kakonge and just leave him just in suspension where he will not have the grassroots to do his political work.
Yeah.
And then there was other network being worked on Kakonge by a new Secretary General now and the Minister of Defense, Mr. Onama, who dropped a program for destabilization of John Kakonge by using a strategic business on Kakonge.
Yeah, that's right. So let's go back to our key point where I was asking you what happened. You were the councillor at the time of Idi Amin's getting into power.
Yes. I was a councillor when this man took power.
1971.
Amin took power in 1971. Yeah. And a bit to my surprise, when I was in Ibare, a certain young man came and he told me that he was from Bunyoro and that he was in the intelligence of the armed forces.
Yes.
I got scared because I'd never dealt with the intelligence people.
At that time, there was
It was before
special state research bureau.
Before state research.
There was the general service unit.
General service unit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and this
it had been handed over to Idi Amin.
Yeah, before General Amin takes over.
Yeah.
And this fellow comes to me. Apparently, I don't know his name. He says, Mzee, you know, we are going to arrest Dr. Mission Obote. I said, arrest? I said, but Dr. Obote is taking off. He's going. Yes. He's going to the conference.
Singapore.
To Singapore.
Yeah.
He said, I'm telling you, Obote is going to be arrested even in the air.
That was very interesting.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm. I said, no. But how did you come to all the people? You come from Bunyoro, you come to pick me, and you're in intelligence. He said, yeah, I know you. We know you. We know you. You are Mawumbe Mukhwana. I got scared. And the following day, he came back with he stopped a Land Rover a bit far.
From your office?
No, from my house.
Yeah.
He came to the house. He stopped the Land Rover. He was being driven. Then he walked to my house, to house number 39.
Yeah.
Then he knocked. When he knocked, I opened for him. My wife had just gone to school. She was a teacher. Then I said, yeah, young man, you have come back again. He said, yes. He says, you thought I was deceiving you. He had a junk of files.
Yes.
He says, here, I'll give this to you. I said, why are you giving this to me? He said, you read them. You read those files. Then you know the situation is not as good.
At that time, it had been announced.
It had been announced. Yeah, it had been announced.
Yes.
And apparently, there had been a lot of movements in the Bari. By movements, I mean to say, the Israel was constructing a road going to the mountain,
yes,
Wanare. And they had set up an office in the old building of the High Court.
Yes.
They had set up an office there with a very big staff. And they were moving a lot. They were moving. In their company was Hassan, the CID man, boss of the CID. And before the announcement, Hassan also drove to my house with a Russian type of car. Apparently he didn't enter, but he just looked at my house, then reversed. Then I said, oh, there must be some movement, something funny.
Yes.
Yeah. So as these fellows come to my house.
Yes, the files he showed
with the
them
file,
the
yes.
files, yeah.
He says, give them to me.
Yes.
And he told me, you will read file number 16, number 23. You would find your name there. Those two. Saying you find your name there. I said, I started panicking. I started panicking. So don't worry. I'm not Slim Ubi. I'm not a bad person. I am your friend. Here in the file, you are being classified as a communist. As one who's in charge of the intelligence of the communist movement.
Yes.
And I said, we don't have communism in Uganda. I said, oh, this is very serious. So the fellow left him the files. Then he said, you are going to hear, Obote is going. Obote is gone. Obote will never come back as a president of this country. This fellow tells me. Then I said, hey, really? Then there's going to be a coup d'etat. So what I did, I rushed to Navdere. I gave him some files some of the files, and others we decided that we destroy them. I destroyed them.
Nabudere's name was among them.
Nabudere's name was there. Kakonge's name was there.
Rugunda,
Rugunda. Yes, Vidandi Sali, all these people.
Yeah.
And apparently, the issue of Kakonge, the structure jacket which I told you, was also there.
Yeah, yeah.
The Mutesa's issue, the attack on Mutesa,
Yeah, yeah.
and his subsequent demise in London was there. So when I got these files, I read through quickly. I said, I had an insight of Uganda. I saw a coup coming. So I shared them with Nabudere. Nabudere also hid them for some time. Then after a week, there was a coup d'etat, a change. This was announcing a new government.
So how did you react to that, having been privy to that information?
Yes, I said I wished I was in contact with Dr. Obote.
Yes.
I wish I was part of his pie. I wish I was part of his governance.
Yeah.
I wish I was part of his governance and had a telephone. And I knew where he was. I could have called him and told him, all are not well. All are not well. This situation that I've just came to find out. Yeah. But since there were no such intimacy, I left it to the situation itself to develop. So I was the first person in Bali, plus Nabudere, who saw the exit of Dr. Obote. Yeah.
So then you stay, of course, you are a councillor.
Yeah, I was a councillor. No, so when there was that change immediately, there were no council meetings, there were no councils, there was no parliament. Everything was on hold. There were no political activities. Each one was on his own. So this is what happened really. There was a change coming, seeing Obote off.
Yeah.
And then when there was that change, I contacted Nabudere, but we met at the marketplace, in the market, because we feared we met in the market. And I advised Nabudere that if there's any chance, he was in touch by then with a young man. He's a lawyer, a young person, yet a young gentleman called Mr. was a brother-in-law to Idi Amin, Mawumbe
Mukhwana, yeah.
So we exchanged ideas. Said Mawumbe had called him. And okay, if he calls you and to appoint you ministerial, try to suggest to him that you better go out and maybe the railway. The railway. Said, oh, thank you. Took my hand. Said, you go, leave the country. And so he suggested to Mawumbe Mukhwana that is willing to work in the railway, as the chairman of the railway.
Yeah. That was in Mombasa?
Yes, in Mombasa, but not take up an appointment as a minister.
Yes.
So when Nabudere left, I said, don't forget the files. He took the files with him. He told him he was taking the files. I went across to be able to call him. And he told me, he has taken the files and he had given the files to Mr. Butiko, the PPS to President Nyerere, so that he would have an insight of the Uganda situation.
Yeah.
So this what transpired that last days of the power of Dr. Obote.
Yeah. So how did you eventually end up becoming a freedom fighter?
Yeah, in fact, I took a decision. Apparently, I had also been in touch with a young gentleman called Yoweri Museveni. Yoweri Museveni was a regular visitor in Bari. He used to come and stay at Professor Namdere's place in the morning. And then apparently he decided to venture into town, look for fellows. Then he got somebody who introduced him to me. So when Nabdere came, when Yoweri Museveni came in, I looked at his face, I knew this is the young person I've heard about through the Soviet University Press Agency. They used to write about him.
You had been to the Soviet Union, have you?
No, several times.
Yeah, that's right.
About 100 times, but I never studied in the Soviet Union.
I thought you had gone to Patrice Lumumba University.
No, I didn't go. Apparently, with the nominal education we had, I didn't go far at the level of the university.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I talked to President Museveni, to Mr. Museveni. This was before the coup d'etat. He had come to analyze the situation. He was asking about somebody who was killed by Okoya. We talked about Brigadier Okoya, and I told him we think it was the hand of Amin. A confusion being brought by Obote to create a clash between Okoya and Amin. So Obote pushed the two to clash, and as a result, General Amin did not spare the other fellow. So these are the issues I talked to Museveni. Then he disappeared. Then apparently a coup took place. Then he came back for the second time to meet me, and then he said he was leaving for Dar. He says he's leaving for Dar. Though he didn't speak it, he didn't announce it, because even the walls have ears. So I knew what he meant, and he left. He said, "Don't follow me. Don't see me out." He just walked out. And then another guest I got was Rugumayo, Professor Rugumayo. Though he doesn't call himself, because Rugumayo had a brother where at Nabmani High School. I was the headmaster. So Rugumayo came over to my place with the Nabdere. He sat very briefly, and for about 5 minutes, and then he left. But I could see there was a lot of tense. Rugumayo was not settled. He was concerned about our situation. So was Nabdere. They were not settled as far as the Uganda situation is concerned.
So then you...
Then I packed up. I had a car.
That was a few days after Museveni had left?
After he had left, I sold my car. And I had a Benz, an old Benz. I sold it. I got the money. I left for Dar es Salaam. So...
Did you actually fly through Entebbe, or you went through Nairobi?
No, I went by Panya Road.
Okay.
I went by bus through a place called after Tororo, Malaba.
Malaba.
I went through Malaba. This is, I took a bus.
Went to Kenya,
I went
Namanga.
to Namanga.
Yeah.
From Namanga, I went to Dar es Salaam. And as I checked in Dar es Salaam, Museveni had established a good network.
Yeah.
A good network, both Nairobi and Dar es Salaam. So as I got to Nairobi, there were people checking buses. And then I got somebody who directed me, who gave me the direction where I could check as I go to Dar es Salaam.
Yeah.
So when I go to Dar es Salaam, I checked Zanzibar Hotel.
Yeah.
And when I checked Zanzibar Hotel, I found some people there from Uganda. There's a PS whom I found there. There's another PS, the Minister of, I think, Foreign Affairs.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot his name. He's a young fellow there.
Mugume.
Mugume. So I found Mugume there. I found some other fellows there in charge there, the Kategayas and others. Yeah, but Museveni was staying in that place, which we didn't know. He had another hideout because he was being protected by the state of Tanzania. Yeah.
So then, of course, you had several interactions in as far as to start the struggle against Idi Amin.
Yes, we had a lot of interaction. I had a chance of being introduced to the leadership of Frelimo. I met Chisano, President Chisano, through the president.
Samora Machel.
Samora Machel.
Yes.
But Machel was not in Dar es Salaam.
Yes.
But I had met Machel before in Nairobi. But I met Chisano, who was in charge, President Chisano. And then I met Tanzanians, Walter Bugoya, those are good friends of the president. So we felt at home. And then time came when the commander of FRONASA decided that we go to Frelimo camp. He didn't tell us, he didn't warn, but he just came. He pack. We just packed and...
the commander of the FRONASA was then who?
Museveni.
Okay, Museveni, that's right.
Yeah, Yoweri Museveni,
That's
but
right.
he had another name.
Okay.
Yeah, he had another name. He was a very young person in his early 20s.
Yeah. Then you had to go to a place called Montepwez.
No, we had to go to a place called...
Not Montepwez?
Not Montepwez. Montepwez is...
Is northern Mozambique.
No, Montepwez came in later on.
Okay, that's right.
We went to a place called Nachingwea.
Nachingwea, that's right. That's
Nachingwea.
Nachingwea.
This is...
Nachingwea. Just close to
the border.
To the border of Tanzania and
this is where we trained.
Yeah.
We trained we stayed for about a year, then came back after the training.
That was around 1974,
73.
73.
Early 73.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The futile attempt on coming to Uganda, where were you during that time? Were you part of that group?
No, the president was part of the group.
Yes.
President was part of the... He talked to Nyerere, and he was not... You see, with Museveni, he told Nyerere and Obote that ours is not an invasion.
Yes.
We have to work from within to make a regime change.
Yeah.
You see, also Nyerere appreciated his role, but Dr. Obote insisted that no, they had to go in, they had to go and fight, they had to invade.
Yeah.
So Museveni said, okay, there's no other way. he can't refuse the command. Nyerere said, you go. They went in and fought.
And of course, so many people lost their lives.
Lost their lives. And President Museveni was lucky that he survived the bullets. He survived the bullets.
So you finished your training, and of course, you didn't take part in that.
No, I didn't take part in the attack.
And then when do we next see you now in action?
We came into action later on when, after that futile attempt, after the failure, we had to reorganize ourselves. After the reorganization, the president, we went back to Dar es Salaam. After that futile thing, I was here for some time.
So you sneaked into the country incognito?
We sneaked into the country incognito. And then situations were so bad for us, losing so many people in Mbale, in Kampala here, in Mbarara, Kigezi, all these places. We lost so many people. And we decided that we go back, because now each one was on his own. So I ran back, and when I ran back, I found the president and Kategeya in Dar es Salaam. And this gentleman, Honorable Ruzindana,
that's right.
They were all there. So we reorganized, and we sent fellows again to training. And another batch of people went
Nachingwea back
to Nachingwea. Then later on, Mozambique. It was the best training that President Museveni has undertaken by then. It was the toughest training, where you train in the wilderness, you see. You survive on your own, no posho, nothing. You have to test all the fruits in the wilderness to see which is not poisonous, so that you all share. So that was the situation.
That is tough. So you come back now?
Yes, now going back to that issue of the president going to Mozambique, the president had to go underground. FRONASA went underground. Museveni disappeared from circulation in Dar es Salaam. And the word was passed around, which was believed by so many, that he had gone to Europe. And Dr. Bott believed, and he celebrated, that Museveni has lost grip of the whole situation, and he has run away. And yet, to me, it was a ploy by the Institute of Tanzania and the Institute of Mozambique to give President Museveni a hub, a military hub, a launching pad. So they trained him for some time. And after his training, I didn't know, but I picked it later on. You see, I picked it later on that the president of FRONASA was not in Tanzania, but across. Then from across there, President Museveni entered the country, invaded Uganda, entered the country, captured some parts of Uganda, and set up his base in Mbarara, at the palace in Mbarara.
Yes, that's right.
So And there were skirmishes between FRONASA forces and the Amin's forces.
Yes, yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So President Museveni was advancing towards Kampala.
Yes, yes.
As he was advancing, I don't know where he had leaked. Information leaked later on to Dr. Obote. And then Obote asked Nyerere, Nyerere said, no, Hajui, he's not informed. He's not informed. And yet, he was aware. When the commander of the FRONASA entered the country, it attracted many countries, USA, the British, the French,
Yes.
and also the Arab world. The Arab world, Gaddafi, they got concerned. Who's entering Uganda to remove, to unseat Amin Dada? And it's not Obote. See, then the Obote's High Command had a meeting in Dar es Salaam because Obote used to move. He never stayed in Dar es Salaam.
Yeah.
He used to stay in the various state lodges. His favorite area was Mbeya.
That's a bit down south.
And sometimes you come to Arusha,
Yes.
Moshi, but his favorite place was Mbeya.
Yeah.
So he was flown this way. He was flown to Dar es Salaam, and then the High Command of UNLA, under the command of chairmanship of General David Oito-Jok, resolved to pursue the war
Yes.
to Mbarara.
Yeah.
So they got hold of their young men, about 800 of them,
Who had been living in Tanzania?
in the camps. Soldiers,
Yeah.
they also invaded. So as they were invading, we got concerned that I personally got concerned there's going to be friendly fire
Yeah.
between our forces headed by the president and Oito-Jok. So we managed to pass information to the governors of Mzee Nyerere, and he told Obote to stop the invasion of the country,
Yes.
to attack, because they were now attacking Museveni with a sniper. See, they had also got
Sniper
sniper guns to get rid of Museveni,
Yeah.
because they were not going to Entebbe, they were going to Mbarara.
Yeah.
So Nyerere stopped them, that if they refused, then they would use the BMs to stop them, BMs in front of them, so that they pull back. They were forced to pull back. So they were forced to pull back. But what was the next move now? This is how the Moshi Conference came in.
Yeah.
Say, if you say they're not going to fight, then why do you go about it? This is when Moshi
Yeah.
was drawn up by President Mkapa and Nyerere. It was under the docket of Mkapa, President Mkapa, that he has to handle the question of the issue of liberating Uganda.
Yeah.
And so, in short, they sent agents to ask President Museveni, come for the conference.
Yeah, from leave Mbarara and
Leave Mbarara, come for the conference. He accepted, and he came to Moshi. I had some work to do with Tanzanians, that is working with the delegation, identifying the delegates from various countries. That was my assignment. And give accreditation card and entry to the conference. So, and before that, before the conference, an issue which is very pertinent to the whole situation. There's no country in the world where the superpowers will not get involved.
Yeah.
Especially the American power itself.
Yeah.
It had to have an influence and make a stake in it. And it's only maybe in the moon, on the moon.
They have been there.
They have been there. But here,
yeah,
the Americans had a say as far as the gun situation is concerned.
Why? What kind of say do you?
They had a say. First of all, they said they sent a lot of Americans in the slum. There were many Americans all over. They could go to anybody except to President Museveni's residence because he was in the street area. But with us, they could come because I was at the beach. They would come swimming.
Talk to you about
Yeah, they would come and say, "We want to take shelter here because it's raining. Yeah, it's raining. Therefore, we want to shelter here for about just after the rain. We'll pack up and go." I said, "Okay, you stay." But they were monitoring the Uganda situation. Then they sent a gentleman called Andrew Young.
Yeah, that time.
Andrew Young led a delegation to President Yoweri, and they dropped a program. They dropped a program for the liberation of our country. But on the condition, the Americans' condition was, okay, we accept you to go in, because they are not sure of this young man, this emerging young person.
Who was believed to be
a communist,
East,
a radical, who was obviously taking over. He would take over. So how do we go about it? How do we go about it? Then the Americans proposed to Museveni that they would support the changes in the country, since Gaddafi has indicated that he is stampeding in the country and is going to bombard Dar es Salaam to the carpet.
Yeah.
So for the Americans to have their batteries all over, missiles all over, was on the condition that, okay, Professor Lule becomes the president. That is, it's non-negotiable.
Why did they specify Professor Lule?
Because they knew Lule, that he is the person who could unify the country together, and he is pro-democracy. He is a Democrat. He will not.
West, maybe.
He is pro-West. He is pro-America. Pro-British.
Yeah.
Then they picked up another young gentleman called David Barrow. They said this one would be in charge of the police. So those two positions, don't touch them.
The rest you can distribute.
The rest you can have even anything. You can even have a pig as a vice president. But so long as you have Lule as the president, and this young man as in charge of the police, we don't mind about other posts. So we were more or less surrender boys, fellows. So we were informed. I was informed by the security that Lule is going to be flown from out.
From London, that
Yeah,
time
from
was
London.
Yeah.
And we have to book him in such a place. So we had to book him in places. We had to go and get delegation from the airport, like Gracie Bingira, Professor Kanyahamba. So the word was passed to the conference through the network of Tanzania that the candidate as selected by Yoweri for the presidency as a compromise, because you don't want Obote, is Lule. This is how Lule came in. And we were all told to pack up, to get ready, to walk in. Yes, to walk in.
So you walked in after the Moshi Conference?
Yeah, we walked in. We made preparations. We come in here, pick information. They would send me with Tanzanians who get us this information. I rush back, give the information. For about 2-3 months, then the military campaign started, and we walked in. Yeah.
So you came, and then, of course, the installation of the president.
Yeah.
And Lule becomes president.
Yeah, Lule became a president.
Yeah.
Though I personally didn't support Lule. I had my own choice.
Yeah.
I had my own choice. There were so many people whom I thought would be good leaders of this country. I didn't rule out President Museveni being the first president after the fall of Idi Amin. Or I didn't rule out Professor Rugumayo being president after the fall of Idi Amin. Lule stayed, but
he refused to
Lule had a problem. He didn't know people.
Yeah.
He didn't know that we have various tribes in the country. He knew very few people. They would ask him, where are the people? Say, I have a Demora, that's the one I know. These others, I don't know them. I don't know them. So he could not sell.
Yeah.
He could not sell. So Lule could not sell. And I don't regret, sometimes I don't regret that I was part of a few people who decided that Lule should go.
So give me that scenario again, that hot meeting finally in state.
That hot meeting in Entebbe, I was in the Bari, and then I got communication from there. I was very close with Tanzanians. I was in the Bari. I had all the facilities, hotline, everything. They were paying for all these expenses. Then information came that we have to travel to Entebbe on such a day. And you'll be informed of what is required to be done in the agenda. And then somebody, a Tanzanian, whispered to me that there's going to be a regime change. I said, that's very good. It's going to be a regime change. I will support it. And then I traveled down this way. Then I met General Museveni, and we exchanged views that we are going to move. We are going to move to remove Lule for the sake of unity in the country. Not that we shall remove him and bring back Obote. I says, no way. I'm not safe in the hands of Obote, but I'll be safe in the hands of some other person. If he, Museveni, is not willing, is not in a position, he prefers Lule, he is not prepared to take on the saddle. He, Museveni, as a president of FRONASA, is not willing, then I'm going to have Professor Rugumayo. This was my stand, that we have Rugumayo as the president, next president. Then, as we were in Entebbe, there were forces who supported other candidates. We had others who supported Muwanga, and others like Ngovi preferred to maintain Lule, Mathias Ngobe, but we told him.
And Kaira?
And Kaira was very vocal. He wanted he would have a showdown there at the State House. Kaira came in with guns. He says, no, we cannot have any other tribe to lead this country except Muganda. That is Lule. If it's not Lule, then it is himself. So we had a showdown, apparently. We had a showdown. I was in charge at the State House because I was also being supported by another young fellow called Namondo Makanya. And Kaira was on the side of Lule. So when we voted, Rugumayo and others were on the other, was this way, and I was this way. So he was that side. So he opened up his briefcase. He said, his pistol. Then I was forced, because I told the Tanzanians that I'll go in with my pistol.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't understand.
Yes.
How did they allow you people to get in the conference armed?
To protect the situation itself. To protect, because I was a soldier. I go in with the pistol to protect who would be sworn in next as a president. You see, as a president. Yeah. But I will not use it against anybody. So when that gentleman went pa 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 pa, pa pa pa, I attracted my attention, and also the attention of some other guys. You see, and people panicked. He was trying to reach for it. Then I said, then he backed down.
So you opened your
jacket,
and
jacket.
You saw that you also
I opened my jacket. I said, I opened my jacket. I took some steps. I said,
Yes.
Then he put down. He closed immediately. He closed. But later on, I interacted with him. I said, don't scheme. Yeah. Because he had already, even in the past, schemed against various people who were in the Moshi Conference. Binaisa's name was brought in, as was told by General Muzuguri. I hope they will not get offended.
Yeah.
General Muzuguri is the one who brought the name of Binaisa.
Yeah.
Then he told me, this name has been brought by your friend, your commander, Yoweri Museveni.
Yeah.
And I told him, Muzuguri, why not himself? Mishaleta jina tu, and ndio he. I said, where is he? He said he's somewhere. Maybe he was within, but undercover. Yeah, because it's very difficult to analyze Museveni. It's very, very difficult. Yes. No, I cannot claim to know President Museveni.